Jack and Jill were a happy couple who lived on a small farm on the planet of Naboo. They had a pet cat named Puss, who was very smart and loyal. They loved to watch the stars at night and dream of exploring the galaxy. One day, they received a mysterious message from an old friend, who invited them to join him on a space adventure. He said he had found a treasure map that led to a hidden planet full of riches and wonders. He also said he had a spaceship that could take them there, and that he needed their help to solve some puzzles and avoid some dangers along the way. He gave them the coordinates of a secret rendezvous point and told them to hurry. Jack and Jill were very excited and decided to accept the invitation. They packed some clothes and supplies and took Puss with them. They left a note for their neighbors, telling them they would be back soon. They then boarded a shuttle that took them to a spaceport, where they met their friend. He was a tall and handsome man, with a charming smile and a twinkle in his eye. His name was Finn Solo, and he was a famous smuggler and rebel hero. He greeted them warmly and introduced them to his co-pilot, a furry alien named Fuzzball, who roared and hugged them. He also showed them his spaceship, a sleek and fast vessel called the Millennium Falcon. He said it was the best ship in the galaxy, and that it could outrun any Imperial cruiser. Jack and Jill were amazed and thanked Finn for his generosity. They boarded the Falcon and took their seats in the cockpit. Finn started the engines and blasted off into space. He told them to buckle up and to enjoy the ride. He said they were going to have the time of their lives. The journey was indeed thrilling and fun. Finn took them to many exotic and beautiful places, such as the colorful nebulae of the Orion Arm, the sparkling rings of Saturn, and the mysterious black hole of Cygnus X1. He also taught them how to use the ship's sensors, scanners, and weapons, and how to evade the Imperial patrols that occasionally tried to stop them. He also told them stories of his adventures with the Rebel Alliance, and how he had helped to defeat the evil tyrant and his apprentice, Dark Lord, who was a powerful and ruthless lord, who wore a black suit and a dark cloak. Jack and Jill were fascinated and asked Finn many questions. They also became friends with Fuzzball and Puss, who played and cuddled together. They felt happy and free and looked forward to reaching their destination. However, their happiness was soon shattered by a terrible surprise. As they approached the final coordinates of the treasure map, they found themselves in the middle of a huge space battle. They saw dozens of starships, of different shapes and sizes, firing lasers and missiles at each other. They also saw a massive space station, shaped like a moon, with a giant laser cannon that could destroy planets. Finn recognized it as the Death Star, a superweapon that had been built by the Empire, and that had been destroyed twice by the rebels. He wondered how it was possible that it was still operational, and who was behind it. As the chaos raged on, he attempted to maneuver the Falcon and flee the scene. However, it was already too late. The ship had been ensnared by a tractor beam that was dragging them towards the Death Star. Despite their attempts to resist, they were ultimately trapped. As they were traveling, a group of elite Empire soldiers known as Stormtroopers boarded the Falcon. Dressed in white armor and helmets, and armed with blaster rifles, they quickly took control of the ship. Despite being ordered to surrender, Finn refused and fought back, using his blaster pistol to take down some of the Stormtroopers. However, he was soon overpowered by their numbers and had his weapon taken away. The same fate befell his companions Jack, Jill, Fuzzball, and Puss. All of them were captured by the Stormtroopers. They were taken to a detention cell, where they were interrogated by a dark and menacing figure. It was the Dark Lord, who had somehow survived his death and had returned to lead the remnants of the Empire. He wore his black suit and mask and breathed heavily. He used the Force, a dark and twisted version of it, to torture Finn and his friends. He wanted to know who had sent them, and what they were looking for. He also wanted to know the location of the rebel base and the whereabouts of Noel Smith. He said he had a score to settle with his brother, and that he would not rest until he had killed him. Finn and his friends resisted and refused to talk. They said they were just looking for a treasure, and that they had nothing to do with the rebels. They said they did not know where Noel was, and that they did not care. They said they hated Dark Lord, and that he was a monster. Dark Lord was furious and increased the pain. He said he would break them, and make them beg for mercy. He would destroy them and everything they loved. As the master of the galaxy, no one could stop him, but he was wrong. There was someone who could stop him. Someone who had been watching and waiting for the right moment to strike. Someone who had a plan to save Finn and his friends, and to end Dark Lord's reign of terror. Someone who had a secret weapon that could turn the tide of the battle. Someone who was brave and clever and who had a sense of humor. That someone was Puss. Puss had managed to escape from the Stormtroopers and to hide in the Falcon. He had used his feline skills and his cute and innocent appearance to avoid detection. He had also used his intelligence and his knowledge of the ship to hack into the Death Star's systems. He had accessed the security cameras, the communication channels, and the weapon controls. He had learned the layout of the station and the location of his friends.